Scorpio, hello there, my beautiful friends. We're going to do your general tarot reading for late July 2024. Thank you so much for joining me today. You know, I appreciate each and every single one of you. So let's get right down to business, as always, and start you off with an oracle card here, just so we could dip our toes into energy and see what's happening for the lovely Scorpio collective. Hope you're all doing fabulous and fantastic, my good friends. Let's get it going here, my guides. Talk to me. What do you got for Scorpio gang in late July? It's Leo season. What's going on? What energies, messages, and insights can you share with us? What do we got for the collective? And yeah, we're just going to take a real quick look at this first card. Then we'll get into the full reading itself. At the very end, I'll pull you a bonus card from the Shadowland Tarot, just to see what might be in the shadows or what shadow work you can lean in on, which is always interesting. But let's get it going here. Let's rock and see what we got for Scorpio in late July. Please and thank you. Leo season. What's happening? Quick, very, very quick. Hey, we got our good friend here, Mr. Bookhead. Okay, page energy, which does not surprise me. That's been coming out early and often for all the water signs this week. And I must say that's the most amusing card in this whole oracle deck to me. I always like when he pays us a visit. But before we fully talk about Mr. Bookhead over there, if you're new here, I'll be speaking about the July subscriber surprise towards the end, so you might want to check that out. Also, if you could kindly illuminate that like button, but tapping it right on its third eye, you know, I'd greatly appreciate it. But enough of the promo, into the reading. Let's talk a little bit more about Bookhead. Okay, so you see this image here. It always makes me chuckle a little bit. We have this person, they're carrying books, they have books for a necklace, they have books as a damn hat, all over the place. Very studious type of energy, which can be nice. Now, I always say that this reminds me of page energy, mostly the Page of Pentacles. So when this card shows up front, sure, this could be speaking about communication, conversations and talks being very important. I'm feeling like a nice, calm, steady delivery as well when it comes to that. So if you are negotiating or talking, it's coming from a nice place of strength. But if that's not the case, this could be about learning new things and being adaptable. Okay, so which I know Scorpios, although a fixed sign, I always say it, we're pretty good at rolling with the punches. So I do like Mr. Bookhead right here up front. I feel like it's a good thing. But yeah, there's highly favored energy around new things, new career, new paths, like very studious and willing to learn. So I like that. And if that's not the case for Scorpio gang, maybe there's just an importance around how you communicate. Okay, it feels very stately. So we're just going to leave it at that. Let's get into tarot. And I always say the first card doesn't make or break the reading. It's just a little footnote. Let's get you 3 cards in the upright, then we'll get into that intuitive juiciness. I'll shuffle it up one time here for my Scorpio gang, please. What do you got for us in late July? And while we get this deck shuffled up and ready to go, let's talk about last week's reading, my friends. There was a lot of strategy for some reason in last week's reading. It was titled They Are Planning. Now, I mean, that's a pretty open-ended type of title for some of you. Maybe there's something you have in the works or that you have had in the works. Could have been someone you're connected to as well, where it's like, I'm going to make sure it goes like this. I just felt like there was a lot of planning, but I was also getting a skepticism in the reading as well. So that energy could still bleed over for a couple weeks, so keep that in mind. There's a lot of strategic energy in play. But let's see what shows up this week. As you know, energy is very fluid. It's never set in stone. So don't take this how it hits for you, because we could be seeing your vibe or someone else. You know how it goes. All right, let's get 3 cards out here for Scorpio gang. What's happening in late July? Let's talk about it. What's happening for Scorpio? Thank you. Emperor. Okay, yeah. Got a plan in hand. Big boss type of energy. I got this under control. We'll talk about it. Let's just get that right next to that amethyst. 2 more. What do we got here? Thank you. 4 of Wands. Okay. Scorpio, this might be looking pretty good. I don't want to get too overly excited just yet. I know how readings could go. You know, they could look good at first and then go left, right? What do we got? Lady Justice on the back end. So powerful energies at play this week for Scorpio gang. And we're going to have to talk about, there is some karmic energy at play. There is a nice shifting of energy as well. And let's talk about it. Let's go through. I'll give you some of the classical meanings and archetypes, then we'll get into that juicy intuitive stuff. But yeah, first look, first glance, elementally, I kind of like what's going on because we have a double down of fire energy, which is all about action, forward movement, making something happen. We have a little air on the back end too. And I always say when we mix fire and air, it could be a little unpredictable. It could be really good for things making big leaps forward, but at the same time, it could be a little explosive. It could be a little volatile. So we're going to need to keep a check on that as we move through the reading itself. I also find it super intriguing that we have Aries Libra axis showing up, because on the zodiacal wheel, Aries and Libra are straight across from each other. So it's kind of like yin yang. So we'll see how this all plays out. Let's go through one by one and really start to build the reading out. Position number one, we have the Emperor. Again, this is Aries energy. And I always say this in Scorpio readings, and not because I'm biased. I have Aries and Scorpio in my chart. But Aries is the other sign in the zodiac that's ruled by Mars, just like Scorpio. So I feel like there's a lot of similarities in Aries and Scorpio. There's differences, of course. But when we see the Emperor, if that's not an Aries person, to me, it's divine masculine energy. So we think of authority figures. We think of people in places of power, of authority, literally. And remember in the very beginning, even though we had this page energy, I was like, someone speaking from a place of power, speaking from a place of being stately. It's very similar that we have this. Now, the Emperor is very good about setting things right. The Emperor is the boss, like big boss, right? Like this is top of the food chain type of energy, and it can represent control. So for some Scorpios in this time, there might be a situation where it's like, oh yeah, I got everything under control. Like I'm going to make sure this goes right. Now that could always swing the other way as well. You might be in a certain situation where there's an individual where they have control and they're not really good about how they use it. This is someone that could be overly controlling, or someone steering a ship in a way that you don't quite like. But to me, just to boil it down, I feel like the Emperor is someone calling the shots. Okay, so we'll just see what's going on with that, especially since we had planning. Now, moving to the center, and I will say this as well, the fact that we have this universal energy and the karmic energy, there is a strong spiritual tie to whatever's happening. But we have the Four of Wands, the 1111 card, and I've been seeing this particularly in the water signs this week, the number signs, synchronicities. There could be powerful omens at play, so keep your eyes open because Spirit could be trying to direct you and guide you. Although we have this nice energy where it's like, yeah, I'm steering the ship, there's also this spiritual energy that's like might be trying to help direct you and show you the way. Aside from that, the Four of Wands could represent the family. It could represent the home. It's a very stable, grounded type of energy. But to me, it's celebrating. It's celebratory. It's like, yeah, okay, this is going good, like group celebration. So we might be seeing wins and victories with this. It all really depends. So like this is a highly spiritual card, but it's also victorious. So when we get to the challenge of the Four of Wands, of course, aside from being warnings from Spirit, this card could represent something that's not budging as well. So that's an energy to watch out for. Again, we're not going to dive too deep into that just yet. Now, as we get to the back end, we have Lady Justice. So again, Libra energy, that's one of our zodiacal neighbors right next to us. So if this isn't a Libra that you're connected to, Lady Justice could represent a whole bunch of different things. First and foremost, it could be about fairness. It could be about equality, making decisions and choices or judgment calls. And same with the Emperor, like being very judicious. So if you do have decisions or choices on your plate, take your time with them, especially with these energies that I'm picking up. Lady Justice also covers legal situations. So for any Scorpio out there, whether it's a contractual thing, putting your name on something, be very careful with anything you sign in this time. If we're not talking any of those other things, and we're not talking about fairness and equality, Lady Justice is a huge card of karma, the biggest one. Okay, so when we see this, there could be karmic archetypes at play, especially next to this very spiritual universal energy as well. So whether it's a karmic cycle coming to a close or somebody catching a dose of karma, it all really depends on how it plays out. But she's here, right? She's here and she's feeling very strong. And when you look at all these cards in their place, like notice how we have the Emperor and Justice, very, very strong energies. It's like united strong. So I want to dive deeper on all of it. Let's jump in and clarify. Let's get a good shuffle here for Scorpio gang. What do we got, my gods? Talk to me. What's going on? And yes, this is where I go intuitive with the message, which means I just tell you how it feels to me. So feel free to do further research or rely on your base knowledge of tarot, because as you know, every single reading is about the reader's interpretation, and I'm just giving you mine. Let's go in on the Emperor here. And if you're a reader yourself, please feel free to play along. That's why the box is here. If you're feeling any messages that you want to give to Scorpio, you could drop it right in the comments. I don't mind at all. Okay, Emperor, what's happening? Why is the Emperor here? Thank you. Again, Again, very, very serious, very judicious type of energy here, Scorpio. So again, whatever it is you might be dealing with in this time, whether it's interpersonal, whether it's work related, whether it's career related, there is just so much energy of authority around you. So maybe it's something about your presence. Like when you walk into a room, there's just a seriousness about you. But let's talk about it a little deeper. The Queen of Swords is air sign energy. So Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. And I would say she is a take no nonsense, no games, no BS type of energy, right? She, like, I'm not playing games, I'm not messing around. So when I'm seeing this very firm, judicious type of energy, and I keep coming up with these terms, that might just be the way you're carrying yourself, like in various different ways. Like, listen, I'm not messing around anymore. I'm not playing games anymore. Like, that's just the energy I'm picking up here in a very strong way. So again, with whatever area of life is like really prominent for you in this time, like to me, it's like, I'm not playing games, or if we have been playing games, it's game over. Like, that's just the energy I'm picking up, because it's just very stern, serious. This is what it is, and that's that. Like, it's an energy that's very much set in its ways, okay, and not necessarily in a bad way. Again, aside from that, with the Queen of Swords, yeah, she's plan-based as well, so that kind of fits in with what we were seeing last week. A lot of strategy, a lot of planning. But to me, it's like, yeah, not playing games. We're not messing around. Let's keep moving. Okay, because again, I feel like it's very simple, but we're picking up on someone's vibe. Now, if that's how somebody you're connected to is acting, like if they're acting cold, if they're acting emotionally cut off for whatever reason, now might be a good time to give that person a little breathing room. That's one thing I will say, right? So let's go in on that Four of Wands, because this energy is just very set, very set. It's the best way I could put it. Let's go in on that Four of Wands. Might just be you. You might be all about your business in this time, Scorpio. All right. A couple of things are just like streaming through my mind right now. We have the Seven of Swords underneath the Four of Wands. Scorpio, in this time, you might be extra protective. Now, everybody knows that Scorpio in general is one of those signs. I don't want to say we, because, you know, I'm part of the collective myself. We don't mistrust people, but we're keeping an eye on everything. We're keeping an eye on everyone just because. That's just how we're built. It's in our astrological genetics, so to speak. So I do feel in this time there might be something that just has your guard up. Now, am I saying that something bad is going to happen because of that? Absolutely not. But I just feel like for Scorpios in this time, our guard might be a little heightened. Okay, with the Seven of Swords underneath the Four of Wands. And I do feel like it's for a good reason. Okay, now if you're cross-watching and you're dealing with a Scorpio, just know that they're on guard right now. Like, their defenses are up, they're in a heightened state. That could be a big vibe we're picking up. Now, the Seven of Swords could just represent things you don't see. For some of you, there could be a situation you're going through underneath this Four of Wands where it's going to turn out way better than you possibly think. Okay, because it's not all bad here. So in a sense, I feel this very protective energy of like, okay, I'm going to protect what's mine. I'm going to protect my happiness. I'm keeping an eye on everything. But at the same time, there could be something that just turns out way better than you could even think as well. So again, we have this interesting mixture of energy this week, Scorpio, where it's like, okay, there's very firm, very serious energy, but at the same time, there could be good things that come of it. Okay, let's move over to Lady Justice, see what she has to say. Then we'll do a quick little recap before we get into the shadow card. And then, yeah, let's go. Why is Lady Justice in the mix for Scorpio, gang? Talk to me. What's this karmic energy about? Thank you. Okay. All right, so sometimes to make an omelet, you gotta crack a few eggs. Okay, and I don't think I've ever said that quote in a reading before. It's very difficult to make everyone happy. Okay, and I know that's not always a concern with Scorpio, and I don't know why this is even coming up within this reading, so you take it however you will. But just know that in life, you know, not everyone's going to like you. You're not going to be able to make everyone happy. Sometimes you're going to upset people accidentally, even without even trying to do so. So there could be an energy that's prone to do that in this time where, like, hey, you might step on someone's toes, you might upset them a little bit, and you're not even trying to do so. But this five of Pentacles underneath Lady Justice, again, I'm going to give you a caution about anything legal. But again, when I see Lady Justice, and a harsh card, to me, this does talk about someone getting served up a dose of karma. So we have this dualistic type of energy where it's like, yeah, someone's going to get their karma served up to them. Don't worry about it. You stay on your business. You do what you do. They're going to get theirs in one way or another. But another thing I'm picking up here is like, you just need to realize that you're not always going to be able to make everyone happy. Okay, so it's an intriguing little mixture of energy here. So let's go through and do a quick recap, Scorpio. I mean, this reading had a lot of ups and downs, twists and turns, but let's see what's up. Then we'll get into our shadow card. If you kindly look in the box, position number 1, and I will mention half of this card has a lot of authority figures. We have the Emperor with the Queen of Swords in position number 1. And again, I felt like there's a very stern, serious presence, whether it's yours or somebody else, where it's like a little emotionally cut off. Like, all right, it is what it is. I'm not messing around. I'm not playing games. It's a very serious type of individual. And I did say it's like, if we were playing games, it's game over. Moving to the center, we have the Four of Wands, the 1111 card. Watch out for the signs and synchronicities with the Seven of Swords. For a bunch of Scorpios in this time, your guard might be up for whatever reason. You might be on guard or just watching things in a very particular way. But aside from that, there could be a situation that turns out way better than you can even expect. So there's a good possibility here in the center as well, but there's a protectiveness. Moving to the back end, we have Lady Justice with the Five of Pentacles. I did tell you that, you know, either this is someone getting served up their dose of karma here, or it's just a message that, you know, we're not always going to be able to make everyone happy. Not everyone is always going to like us, and that's fine. That's okay, right? We try our best. We try to be good people, but you know, some energies don't match. I don't know why it's coming through like this, Scorpio, but again, yeah, this karmic energy is coming through strong. So yeah, please take a screenshot of that if you want to look into it further. Again, a little complex in its layering, but let's see what's in the shadows for you. So let's get a good shuffle here. What's in the shadows for Scorpio gang? Please, my guides, what's happening? And yes, I always like to pull a shadow card at the very end just to see whether it's something within you or something you don't quite see. Shadow cards don't always have to be a challenge. They could be a good thing. So let's get you one. And yes, if you've made it to this point in the reading, please feel free to check out channel memberships. I'll put a link for it in the comments below. It's a beautiful way to support the channel, and I have much love for all my channel members. Okay, let's get this out here. What's in the shadows for Scorpio gang? Please. What do we got? Okay, King of Pentacles person. So yeah, earth sign energy, and again, another authoritative type of energy with the King of Pentacles showing up in the shadows. Now, I generally like to think that this is a good card, but there could be a little bit of a struggle here when this shows up as a shadow. In this time, make sure you're being cautious with anything business related or money related when the King of Pentacles is in the mix. And generally, to me, this is a card of blessings and abundance. And the fact that it's in the shadows, it kind of mirrors what we had here in the center with the Four of Wands and Seven of Swords, that there could be something coming up that is going to be really, really good, or something that goes better than you think. So even if you're in the midst of an uncomfortable situation, it's not going to stay like that forever. It's going to turn out better than you probably think. Okay, but the King of Pentacles, the rough side, the shadow side of this card, could be an individual that's very stubborn, set in their ways, or this could represent something you've been dealing with for a very, very long time. Okay, so if that's the case, if this is an energy you've been dealing with for a while, Spirit might want you to maybe try to resolve that as best you can in this time. Obviously, you know, some things take time, but watch out for going against energies that will never change. Okay, like, don't waste your energy on things that'll never change. So Scorpio, that's what I have for you this week, my beautiful friends. Don't click away just yet, though. I'm going to give you the details of the July subscriber surprise. If you would like to book a personal reading with me, you can check out my digital calendar at my website, mastermetaphysics.com. The link is down below. But for the July subscriber surprise, I'm giving away 2 copies of another one of my favorite decks, the Wizard's Tarot. Absolutely beautiful and works great. So if you'd like to get your name in for this, it's 2 simple things. As always, my friends, first, you must be subscribed. And second, since I have the travel bug lately, let me know down in the comments what is the most beautiful place you visited in person. You'll be entered to win, and at the end of the month, the winners will be announced in my community tab. As always, my friends, much love, and I'll see you soon.